Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Basement Card Collector. Today's video is going to be another book in my Vintage Sports Book Report series. And actually it's not even a vintage book. I've showed a video on Bill Russell and Mickey Mantle. This is just a good sport book, baseball card book that I think you would love, and you can see the title. It's called The Wax Pack. The author is Brad Baluchin, if I'm guessing to say that correctly. He is a guy about our age, is my guess, and he writes this book and kind of as a tribute to those famous cards of that junk wax era. And he's a professor from a college out in California, and this story starts out as he's at a baseball game. I think it's an Oakland A's game. He's just kind of thinking back about, the players that he used to like as a youngster and comparing it to today's game, I believe. But he gets this idea of getting a pack of baseball cards, and somewhere the idea comes up to visit and try to meet all of these heroes back from when he was a kid. And he chooses the year 1986. 1986 Topps to kind of make this challenge. And so the challenge of the book is he orders a pack online, and his goal is whoever is inside that one pack, he is going to research and try to meet and have him sign this 1986 card. And so he orders the pack arrives, he runs into some bigger names like Carlton Fisk is in the pack, Vince Coleman's in the pack, but some more lesser known names like Rance Mulliniks, Don Carmen. There's a Rick Sutcliffe, who was obviously a big name for me. Rich Hebner is in there. And then the journey is, because as a kid you open up these baseball cards, at least mine was like, man, this guy must be wealthy, this guy must have a huge house, and this guy must be living the life of lives. And so what you find out in this book is it's really, and as you're growing, of course, you know these things, but as a kid opening up 1989 Topps for my cards, back when I was first starting, it's like, man, it would be so cool to be, this guy probably is living the life. Now as a 9-year-old, you just assume everything is, cherries and peaches and everything is happy. But as this book goes, this is a really cool book where this guy actually meets almost all of the guys in the Topps pack. He gets them to sign the cards. If I can just show you a couple pages here bookmarked. Like here's the Don Carmen card. And if you can read through this, you realize that when you see Don Carmen 1986 Topps, you're thinking, man, this guy's a major league pitcher. He has no problems. Well, and as an adult, you kind of find out that that's probably not even the case, even if you're in the major leagues. But he has this Don Carmen chapter. It's just kind of, he does have some cool things. Today, he's like a life coach almost, teaching young major leaguers how to deal with the pressures of being in the big leagues. I just put a couple sticky notes here just to kind of show. Here's the Doc Gooden. Now, back in 1986, you would have to believe Doc Gooden was living the good life. And so now in 2022, some things have come out since then to maybe that wasn't so much the case. And so this guy, Brad Baluchin, he ends up meeting Dwight Gooden Jr. and tries to schedule a few meetings here and there. And then you realize that, well, it wasn't so great after all. I picked this one for the Cubby Connection, Rich Hebner. I remember this card as a kid thinking, man, that looks so old. Well, this Rich Hebner version chapter, he talks about how he would go home every summer, just a hardworking family. And he actually was a grave digger in the off season. He would go home and dig graves and dig ditches, I believe. Here's a Rick Sutcliffe card, another Cubby. This pack had 2 Cubs. Lucky that fella. But Rick Sutcliffe turned out to be about one of the nicer guys in the books here, where he drove him all around his truck. He met him in some parking lot. The author and Rick Sutcliffe, he hops in this big truck, and Sutcliffe drives him around the town, showing him where he was born and his high school and all these other good things. And so here's the author. And actually, a pretty cool thing, after I finished the book, I emailed him at the university there. We actually emailed back and forth a few times, and I asked him a few times about the pack of cards. Does he have them? And he does. He doesn't really collect cards anymore, but I thought, man, what a cool idea. And it just really hit home for me, because that's just what I did, and with those cards, and just kind of assumed everything was awesome. And when you read this as an adult, you realize that they made it to the majors, and some stuck around for a long time and were Hall of Famers. But even the Carlton Fisk chapter, it kind of hits you. It's like his dad was super hard on him, and the Carlton Fisk story was he was a stud basketball player in high school, and I guess he had like 42 points and like 25 rebounds, and I think his team might have lost by a point or two, or maybe even one. That wasn't the point. Let's just say he had 42 and 25 rebounds. I guess he got home and his dad said, yeah, but you missed those 2 free throws. It's just kind of a sad story of what you just assume Carlton Fisk must be everything rosy forever. And really he had, I hate to say, probably a normal childhood growing up, and his dad was just super hard on him. Now, it worked out for Carlton, I think, in the end, to making it in the major leagues, of course, but it's just, you don't see that when you look at a 1986 Topps. So what I did, just to kind of, to end this video, I grabbed the beginning, this much of a stack of the 1986 Topps set, just to kind of refresh some of your memory about what you see in 1986. Those giant black borders, I mean, what a great looking Tony Gwynn, so young there. But you can see some of the names that I haven't heard of in a while. But this pack, I just grabbed this. This is kind of cool. Hey, there's that. Brent Gaffey, actually, I play with his nephew on some summer teams. He actually lives not too far away from where I do. There's the Hebner from the pack. How about that? Lou Whitaker. But those black borders were hard. Ooh, what a cool card that is and was. Eric Davis. Eddie Murray, and these are, I'm actually missing one card in this set. I have a couple other versions. This is the one that I tried to build just on my own. Ken Griffey, secondary Cubby, Billy Hatcher, Quisenberry, all right. Ooh, Lenny Dykstra. But when you look at these names as a youngster, you just think, man, these guys must, have it all made, and everything is going to be okay, and so this book, picked it up someplace. A buddy of mine actually said, hey, you should read this book. He gave it to his dad. His dad read it. He read it, and he passed it on to me, and I read it, and I passed it on to a buddy of mine he's read it. So who knows? If this interests you, we could send this book around the country, kind of like what the author did with himself visiting these players. But no, what a great book. It's called The Wax Pack. And I wanted to share my little book report section for this video. 1986 Topps was the focus of this book. It would be 1989 Topps if I were to rewrite the book. And the author, and you can read his name there, Brad Baluchin is the author. It's just a really cool book. And so, have you read this book? Have you heard of this book? Would you be interested in reading this book? Let me know, and maybe we can send it, and then we can kind of pass it around, maybe sign the title page and keep passing it around the country. Who knows? But that will conclude my Vintage Sports book report. I think episode number 3. It's not vintage unless you consider the 1986 vintage, but the book report part of it is still true. And I will get another book up next week. This channel, we do TTMs, and we do collections and set building and all kinds of things baseball card related. And if you dig that kind of thing, please go back and watch some old videos, subscribe. But no, let me know about this book. I'll send it out if you want to read it, and we'll just pass it around. I think that'd be a cool project. So anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.